turns out, and it's hard to get more different than East Germany. They were all already back in the car. Noah's mother turned the key with gusto, and the engine roared awake again. Noah looked back at the bright yellow strap of his Batman backpack, poking out of the garbage can, and felt very strange about everything that was happening. None of this sounded even the slightest bit like visiting the Black Forest and eating cake. He was sorry about the cake. But on the other hand, Noah's mother had been working on her graduate degree in special education as long as Noah could remember. Mostly, that seemed to mean reading books with very plain covers and long titles, and sometimes using Noah as a guinea pig for all the various tests she had to learn how to give. Noah and his dad both took a lot of pride in being the most supportive family ever about Noah's mother's doctorate. "There you go," said Noah's father. "It's going to be an absolutely terrific thesis. But it turns out we have to go now." "Before school's let out there," said his mom. "And other reasons. Change being in the air, the visas having come through." "What's a visa?" "Official permission to enter a country," said his mother. "Visas can be very hard to get for a place like East Germany. Lots of forms, and you can't just jump up and decide you want to go there. First, you have to apply to get a fellowship from this outfit in Washington, D.C. called the International Research and Exchanges Board. They're the ones who fund this kind of trip. Did I mention I'm being paid actual money to do research?" "Well, it's a great topic," said Noah's father. "Right, Noah?" "Sure," said Noah. His mind, however, was a great big tangle of swimmers and cake. "Thanks," said his mother. "So that's how it went. First, I got the fellowship, and then the East Germans needed to think about whether to give us our visas. They dig into everything. They ask all sorts of questions. But now we've got the visas, so we can go." "When are we coming back?" asked Noah. He didn't want to miss any more soccer practices than he had to. "We'll have to leave the GDR in 6 months," said his mother, with what seemed to be regret. "That's when the visas run out." "6 months?" said Noah. Did you just say 6 months?" He couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. It was unbelievable. He could feel his mouth hanging open, and he didn't even care. Now, think of it this way," said his father. That was one of Noah's father's favorite phrases, a signal that something over the top and extravagant was probably on its way. "It's kind of like a trip to fairyland, right? I mean, because almost no one gets to go there, and it's sort of sealed away behind tall walls, you know? Some people visit, sure, but almost nobody gets to live there, and certainly nobody your age from here. You are 100% sure to be absolutely the only kid in the whole place who comes from Virginia." "Fairyland?" said Noah. "Not the kind of fairyland with fairies," said Noah's dad. "More like the places Alice goes in that book you're reading. A fairyland with lots and lots and lots of rules." "East Germany, a fairyland? Said his mother, swerving back onto the highway and making a beeline for the fast lane. "It will be fun," said his father. "It's all about attitude, people. We just have to learn to think about things a little differently." Noah's mother winked at him via the rear-view mirror. Noah's own attitude was feeling a little battered and bedraggled just at that moment, to be honest. "More than just merely fun," said Noah's mother. "Even those scientists going to the South Pole that your father's so fond of don't head off that way just because it's fun. A trip like this to the other Germany is guaranteed to be better than fun. It'll be highly educational." Better than fun? Noah was highly dubious. Secret file number 2. 2 Germanys? Why? When Noah asked this question, which had been simmering in his brain ever since he had heard he was going to the other Germany instead of the usual Germany, his father told him the following story. Once upon a time, there was a very terrible war. In 1939, the Germans invaded Poland, and that was the beginning of the Second World War. Germany looked pretty unstoppable at first, as it pushed on through Europe, occupying country after country, terrorizing.